Hi, my name is Judy Kessinger, and I'm the creator and owner of the Fit Nice system. And today I'm going to talk about my nickname. It's the Queen of Glue. And if it can be glued, that's what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to talk about a permanent glue called E6000, a temporary glue, which is a glue stick. I'm going to talk about glue that is attached to paper. It's a sheet of glue attached to paper. And I'm going to talk about temporary spray glue. Now, I've used the permanent glue to glue the trim onto this little purse. It's a lot simpler to do that with the E6000 because that is a permanent industrial strength glue. Now, while we're talking about that glue, let me tell you how not to glue the lid to the glue. When you unscrew the lid, just take a Q-tip, put it in Vaseline, and run it on the inside of the lid, and you will never glue the lid to the glue. And by the way, that works great with fingernail polish too. You can glue beads on, or any of these trims, or any of these cute little rhinestones. You can glue those to your garment. This is washable, so after it sets for 24 hours, you can wash that garment. You can repurpose your buttons. Maybe you've got a button sewn to a garment and you want to change it up a little bit. Glue a different color to the top of the button and you've got a totally different look. So very simple to do with that permanent glue. I always say every household needs it because if anything breaks, you can glue it back together again. I even had a button. It was a glass button and I dropped it and broke it and I glued the entire thing back together with E6000. Jewelry, furniture, pottery, anything you've got can be glued back together with E6000. See why they call me the Queen? The next thing I want to show you is the pockets. Now the pocket and the zipper were all glued in place with the temporary glue stick. I'm going to show you how to line a pair of pants with the spray glue, and then I'm going to show you how to put on trim with the glue that has paper attached to it. First, we're going to talk about E6000. It's an industrial strength glue, and I'm going to show you just some of the samples that you can do with E6000. Be sure to visit my website and Facebook to find out more. I needed an evening bag for a cruise, so I decided to make one myself, and I glued all of this trim on this purse. Now, if you go to my website, that's fitnicesystem.com, this is made with a placemat. And you'll find step-by-step directions on how to create this purse, and then you can glue whatever trim you want to. Use the E6000 because it's going to hold forever and ever. Bob Vila could glue this whole house back together again with E6000. You can also glue buttons back together or anything that you've broken. This was that glass button that fell on the floor, went into a million pieces. I glued the entire thing back together with E6000. Rhinestones, I love rhinestones because it adds just a little bit of glitter, and you can see all I've done is to glue all of these rhinestones to this jacket. Now this goes through washing after washing after washing. It will go in your dryer, but I don't recommend it because it's your dryer that ruins your fabric. So just hang up the garment to dry. Now remember I told you that you could do a button. Let me put it up here like this. And once this was sewn to your garment, if you wanted to change it up a little bit, you could literally stack another button on top, glue it with the E6000, it will stay there forever. But what if we took one of these cute little rhinestones and put that in the middle of the button, and you've got a totally different look. So keep playing with the E6000. It's a great product. Now this is glue in sheet form, and when I say that, I mean it has a paper attached to it. And let me pull this apart so that you can see the glue just goes away from the paper. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. It comes in lots of different brand names, so just choose one that you like. And take your tweezers, pull off a piece of it like this, and if you have a facing that's coming out of something, out of a blouse or something, you can literally put this under the facing and glue it back together. So anything that's on the inside of your garment that you don't want to show on the outside of the garment can be glued. There's a lot of garments that I glue, but one of my favorite things to glue are necklines. You can see that this is a woven piece of fabric. I've made an over the head blouse. So there's no buttons or buttonholes in this. And I finished off the neck edge with a bias trim. So all I have to do is to take a little piece of this glue, stick it under that bias trim like this, and literally glue it in place. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, if you would pin this all the way around and take it to your machine and start to sew, you would pull bias lines in it, and you're not going to be happy. If you glue it down first, take your hot iron and glue it down first, then you're not going to have anything pull away from you. Whatever you've glued together, that's what you're going to sew, and it's going to look great every single time. Can you see I've even done the armholes with the bias trim? You want to change the look of a garment? It's really simple to change the look with trim. This is just a trim that I purchased at the store. I glued it down with the glue that has the paper on it. I glued it in place. I tried it on. So I made sure that all of these lines, you can see it's asymmetrical, all these lines look good on the jacket itself. So I glued all of those in place. Once I'm happy with it, take it to your machine and then you can sew it on. I even glued this zipper in. Now I'm going to show you this zipper because the zipper tape is between the raw edge of the jacket and that trim that I purchased. So I glued the back side of the zipper tape, then I glued the front side of the trim. When I stitched it all the way around, it caught the zipper. So I've kind of done a 2-for-1, and that's the glue with paper attached. Now I talked about E6000, and I talked about the glue that had the paper attached to it. Those are permanent glues, and I want you to understand that. It's not going to come unglued. This is a temporary glue. So if I glue two things together, I don't want them glued anymore, I can wet them and the glue will disappear. You can match your plaids this way, you can match your stripes this way, and one of the best is chevron. Can you see on this garment right here? Let me show you how to do that. Once I have cut a garment in the chevron shape, all I have to do is to take the temporary glue stick and glue the edges together. You will have perfect chevrons every time. Let's just say that you were going to match these stripes as opposed to them chevroning. Again, all you'd have to do is to glue the edges and you'll have perfect stripes, perfect plaids, perfect anything. When the garment is finished, launder the garment and guess what? The glue is all gone. So this is a water-soluble temporary glue. Now the other thing that you can do is to glue your zippers in, and this is really fast and easy. What I'm going to do is to put glue on the zipper tape, hand press that zipper in place. Let me grab a zipper over here. I'm just going to put glue on the zipper tape like this. And by the way, when you buy this glue, after you open the package, now it's in a blister pack, so it's secure in there. After you open it, put it in a baggie, just a little sandwich bag, and it'll never dry up on you. So great little tip on that. So put glue on the back side of the zipper tape. Make sure you cap the glue up. Put the zipper tape, line it up. Now you've already basted that seam shut, so line it up on the center of that seam. Finger press it in place. And what most of you do is to sew on the zipper tape and pray it looks good on the other side. Well, let's pray for something else, because can you see? All I have to do is to turn the garment over where I can see what I'm doing and top stitch on the outside. You will never have another crooked zipper, so it works really great. Even if you're doing a separating zipper, it works just as well. Pockets. I glue all my pockets on. When you put pins around the pocket, the feed dog on your machine pulls against the pins and it makes your pocket go on crooked. So next time, glue your pocket in place and then you'll know exactly where it's going to be and you're not going to have any surprises. So I've glued one pocket on and I stitched it on. But what happens when you want to put a pocket on the other side of your garment? Like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other pocket. I'm going to put glue on the back side of it. And you don't need to be heavy-handed with the glue. I'm going to lay the pocket right side to right side like this. And then I'm going to line up all the raw edges of the other side. press it in place with your hand really, really good. And you have both pockets in exactly the same place without measuring anything. Time saver, you won't believe it. It's great. So anything that you can glue together, well, to hold it together, to stitch it, is wonderful. Quit using all those pins. This is a lot faster to do. Now, this jacket has ribbons on it, and this is grosgrain ribbon, by the way. If you wet grosgrain ribbon and throw it in your dryer, it becomes soft like this. This is one of the jackets that is on the variation, along with the jacket and the cowl neck that I have on, and also this top over here. So all of these are on the variation step-by-step directions, but let me show you how I did this one, how I created it. When you do anything that is a decoration equally on both sides of your garment, it needs to be straight. So I'm going to fold this over like this so that you can see that would be one straight ribbon. So I cut one whole front, I glued the ribbons on all the way across, let it dry, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes, go back to the machine and stitch them on. Again, you've got one whole piece. Cut it straight up the center. Now you're equal, right and left side. Put a band on it for buttons and buttonholes, and bingo, you have a beautiful jacket. Very simple, very easy to do. I did exactly the same thing on this jacket, but instead of using instead of using ribbon, I used bias trim, and this is bias sheer fabric cut on the bias. So very simple and easy to do, and you have a beautiful look. Let's see what you can glue. Be sure to check my video on pockets and zippers, and you're going to find a lot more gluing tricks on there as well. Now, the last glue I want to talk about is temporary spray glue. You can use any manufactured temporary spray glue that you want to. I want to show you how to line a pair of pants. There is absolutely nothing more miserable than lining twisting one way and the pant leg twisting another. So let's line them the easy way. Now, this basically is called underlining, and I'm sure you all are all familiar with that term. So underlining means it's just fabric stuck to the original garment itself. So let me show you how to stick it very simply. First of all, I'm going to fold I've got little pants. Can you see I've got a little sample up here? I'm going to fold my legs like this. And if you have a cutting mat that has grids on it, line this green line up with a grid. That tells you that that pant leg is perfectly straight on grain. And it's very important to have that. So I'm going to fold that out like that. I'm going to take my lining fabric and I'm going to line it up on one of those grain lines as well. Now that tells me my pant leg is straight of grain and my lining is straight of grain. Take pattern weights and put it right in the center of your garment. You can use anything you want as a weight. You can even use kitchen knives if you want to. Flip this back like this, spray one side, press the lining in place with your hand, flip it this way, spray again, press it down with this hand. Now take it to your serger and you're going to serge all the way around the garment, and that will cut off your excess lining. When you sew it together, you're going to have a beautifully lined pair of pants, just like this. Now, let me tell you that this is what I do to jackets. If I'm in a really big hurry, I will actually line just the sleeves of the jacket, and I do it this way because it's the sleeves that are hard to get into when you're working on a jacket. So if I don't want to line the whole jacket, I just line the sleeves in this manner, and it works beautifully. So spray glue, and you're ready to go. Now, I've talked about the glue stick, and I've talked about E6000, and I've talked about the glue that has paper attached to it. All of this can be found on my website at fitnicesystem.com. Please make sure that you visit the website often, watch all my other videos, and don't forget I'm on Facebook. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've seen how simple and easy this system is to work with. All of the products you've seen in the video are available on my website or a link on my website. Please make sure while you're there to check out the classes to see where I am. Join me on Facebook under Fit Nice, and be sure to join the Fit Club. Thank you.